on. Seeing my screen now?
Yeah, we already see it. Yeah, your screen.
Are you?
Yeah, we are seeing now. Yeah.
Just one sec. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us? Me? Yeah.
Are you?
Can you hear me?
I'm not hearing anything. If you guys can hear me either.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna try this.
Can you hear me, Professor?
Now I can. Yeah.
When you share, press in the button that is in the below side, because then I think you will get our sounds too.
I did actually. Let me try again to have the sound on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. See, share sound. I'm doing this.
Because we were listening to you perfectly.
Okay, so well, since I'm not sure if I can listen you guys back, the questions I'm gonna make questions, during the presentation, so you guys can write on the chat, and then I'll be checking it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah, cool.
So it's fine.
Cool,
It's
cool.
fine. Perfect. I will be checking the chat for you too. So if anybody writes something, I just open my microphone and I tell you. Okay.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you so much, Uliana.
My pleasure. Okay, so let's start today. It's all about international trade and exportation. As Caio said, it's going to be a really important part of your project, because it's all about, like exporting things from Brazil, from Amazonia, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. Let's go. I'm going to present a little bit of myself. As Caio said, I graduated in Cesupa as in a business administration. During my time in college, I was also part of an international group who went to Malaysia representing Brazil, and it was all about social entrepreneurship and all the work that we did with the people that live around by the river, by the Amazon River. Was a really exciting experience. I learned a lot. I had the opportunity to see people and talk to people all around the world, even Macau and India and Romania and Canada, United States. Was so good. That's when I realized that I wanted to be, part of the world, and I wanted to know people in different languages and different cultures. And that's what brought me here today, as my expertise today, that is international trade and foreign, relationships, which I love. During also college, I went to Spain. I was part of Santander Exchange Student Program. I lived there for 6 months, and just made me like really realize that's what I want to be, traveling and having different experiences. I went to United States to get my master's, which is international management. So if you guys see, it's all like makes sense to where I am right now. Here in Portugal, which I live for 3 years and a little bit, 2 months or something, I have my company and it's called Bramazon. My product is açaí, which is typical from Pará, from Belém, from Amazon. I'm really proud to bring that product to, Europe, and it's having really it's a success here. Everybody loves açaí. It's, all like the healthy stuff and brunches and lifestyle, so it all makes sense. And I'm also owner of the Mundus Consulting, and I help people to organize their companies and the productions to get the products, around the world. Here's a little bit, like the things that I just told you guys and all the competitions that I was part. All the things that I brought to the world, like in the middle, we have like a picture with a dance from Brazil, from Belém, that we exposed to the whole university in United States. So I'm always like trying to bring Amazon to my life and to the people that, you know, like is around me. That's my brand that I just told you guys, the acai. If you guys want to check later our Instagram, I'm really proud to, you know, to do what I do and to bring acai. And not only acai, but other products that I've been studying. I'm really proud to have the opportunity to put here in Portugal, in Europe, and, you know, get people to know more about what we do, what we have, our products, and all of our resources. And that's the brand. That's a little bit of what we're gonna be talking today. It's like an outline so you guys can understand all the steps that we're gonna be taking today. We're gonna have a little break of 5 minutes in like 30 minutes. So you guys can have some water, you know, just chill a little bit. It's gonna be a lot of information. It's a bit complex, but I'm here to try to make it easier for all of you. Okay. So as I said in the beginning, I want you guys to participate also. So when first comes to your mind, when you think about international trade, if you guys actually can open the mic, you know, and talk to me, I think I'm able to listen to you. If not, Kyle, tell me, you know, what people are saying. So when you think about international trade, what do you first, you know, comes to your mind? Let's go, guys. I
Let's
know
go,
in Brazil,
everybody. Let's go, everybody. Let's wake up.
yeah, right. I know in Brazil it's a bit early, but
Okay, we started here. Imports and exports. Exports. Yeah, good. What else? Merchandise.
yes,
Yes. Anybody else? Commodities. Good, Daniel.
good, good, good.
Supply chain and logistic. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's right.
Huge challenge.
Yeah, it can be complex, but it's worth it. Okay,
Diversity. Good.
cool, cool. I think we're good. Yeah, all the things that you guys said, it makes sense. It's involved during the process, but not only that, actually, it's a path. You know, you're gonna start in point one and you're gonna go to point B, and there's a lot of things included in between. The concept that we have like globally known as international trade is the free and fair and reciprocal exchange of goods and service between two different countries is largely referred as international trade. As I said, it's going to the point A, the country one, the orange point, to the country two, to the point B, to the destination point. But as I said, again, it's complex. It's not only taking something from one country and delivering in another. We have all the things that interfere in the process as globalization, tariffs, import, cost, customs, freight, documents, insurance, exchange rates, orange, laws, legislation, licenses, pricing, merchandising, international marketing, international negotiation. It's a whole world of, you know, relations and processes and documents and things we need to do to make sure our product is gonna get to the final destination. Yeah, it's a lot of things, but it's not the end of the world. We're doing it. We're gonna keep doing it, and it's possible. You just need to be organized. As some of you guys said, importing is part of international trade, export too. And we also have entrepot. It's something that we not normally listen about international trade, but it also happens. So what is import? Is when you purchasing goods and services from a foreign country. Export is the selling of the local manufactured goods and service to foreign countries. And the entry port, it's when you first import to country one, to country two, and then you export to country three. And why I'm gonna do that if I can just take something, and get it straight to my destination point? Maybe some countries and some relations are different, and perhaps it's going to be easier. For example, if I take a product from Brazil to Portugal, because we have a lot of commercial agreements and we speak almost the same language. Portuguese, yeah, we speak Portuguese in Brazil and also here in Portugal, but we have some tricks. The language is not exactly the same, even though we can understand each other almostly 100%. But okay, so if I want to take acai to Croatia, for example, which is also an European country, it's easier to take from Brazil to Portugal because of all these agreements. And then I take from Portugal to Croatia because Portugal and Croatia are part of the European Economic Group, and they, because of that, they have different agreements that Croatia doesn't have with Brazil, for example. So it's going to be easier to get my product first to Portugal and then export to Croatia. That's why the third one's really important and happens in practice. Okay, so we have some questions here that gonna open up your mind and your eyes to why I'm gonna export if I have so many things in my own country. I know the culture, I know the people. Why I'm gonna bring something from another country and how I'm gonna do that? That's what we're gonna see today. Why we're gonna talk about internationalization, supply capacity, existing demand. Perhaps like here in Portugal, we have a lot of people from Brazil, and they all miss the food from Brazil. So I found an opportunity here to bring something different, to um, perhaps fill a gap that I saw in the market. What to export? We have a lot of things. Some of them are easier, some of them are harder. For example, importing food, it can be tricky because it's perishable. So if I don't get the product here on time, maybe I can lose my product. It can expire. It can, have things between the process that are gonna make harder to get here as it's supposed to be. But maybe I can explore jewelry made from seeds from Amazon, and it's a bit easier because it's not perishable. I don't need to have like a cool container or something like that. So we have products, and a lot of them they're gonna have different circumstances. They're gonna make easier or harder. Where to export? We have the whole world to export, actually. Like globalization makes things easier. Some markets are open. It doesn't mean it's free. It's, like the free trade, it exists. It doesn't mean it's not gonna have any cost. And how to export? We have to really go deep into how export, because if I don't have the legal or administrative requirements, for example, my product maybe can be stuck um, in the entity that legalizes and make the product possible to get into the market. And here are some websites that we can get trade data. This one is specifically for Brazil, and the second one is more global. We have insights about statistics and what the country is consuming more. It's really important when you decide to, take something from one place and get to another. All good? We good till now?
Yeah, great.
So I already explained a little bit why export. Perhaps you are in Brazil or you are in your country and you see where you have a supply that has a lot of products and want to take abroad. maybe they can produce too much and the local market it's not consuming it all. So you have an opportunity to take the product and like keep producing, keeping moving the economy and taking the product away abroad. Or you see that you have a demand in your country. As I said here, I saw an opportunity and I decided to import acai from Brazil. And here's a picture from Amazon. And I also say that I truly believe that we go further, yes. But when we go further, when they become able to go further. It's not only about us, but what we can do for the environment, for the community, for the Amazon to take, all the resources that we have, they're amazing, and help the community that grow the seeds, that grow the fruits, all the ingredients that we have. What to explore? The point of this workshop is to understand and to learn all the materials that we have in Amazon and turn them into finished goods and empower the community and help to make to improve the sustainability of the local people that work there and have to grow their families and have their incomes. So it's not only about us, but about the people that we can help and the lives that we can improve. Here are some of the raw materials just to, like visualization makes easier to understand all the products that you guys can work with. Maybe since am I the last one, Kyle, class? Is the exporting and plan the last part of the workshop?
No, we have the business model one tomorrow. You're
The
the
last one.
last one. Yeah,
Okay.
tomorrow will be the last one.
Okay, cool. So probably by now you guys have seen some of these, like resources. So just to even give you guys more ideas, first we have acai, which is the one I work with, and I'm passionate about it. So second one, we have cassava, and we have many things that we can do with it. It's awesome, typical from Belém, from Pará. We eat it every day. We have nuts, which also is a good market. Everybody eat nuts. You also can do a lot of things. We have jambu. Here we have cocoa, some seeds, some spices. India loves spices. I love you guys. Like, I love Indian food. So all about spices, but different ones. Maybe you guys can improve in your market, different spices. We have pupunha, we have cupuaçu, we have so many fishes, and the fish from Brazil, and especially from Amazon, is different. It's from the river. We have like different texture, different flavor, which is a really good product to work with also. And we also have seeds. So these would be considered like raw materials. And what can we do with it? Well, again, my brand, really proud. As I said, many things we can do with cassava and flakes and powder as a juice we call tucupi. We have a lot of options to work with the raw materials and turn them into finished goods and different stuff. Here is an example of a cookie that we can make with the nut. Here is a cachaça made with jambu. For those who doesn't know jambu, it kind of gives you a shivering, a trembling in your tongue. It gets a bit numb. It's a really cool experience. I brought some from my friends here in Portugal, and they all love. Like, it's something totally different. The experience, you see like, oh, this is something. This is funny. My mouth and my tongue, it's numb. What is it? So it starts like the curiosity on the people, which is amazing. We here we have cocoa nibs. Here we have tapioca and a jam made from spices. We have it's a type of a noodle made from pupunha, which is healthy and low carb, and people also loves it, you know, for lifestyle and healthy alimentation, that kind of stuff. Also here we have an ice cream made from cupuaçu. People also loves it here. So places that are like hot and warm and nice weather would be a really good option for you guys to work with. Here we have some, you know, here's pirarucu. It's like a ball and you have the feeling of the fish. It's fried and it's really good. You can bring uh, the fish itself, and or you can also have these balls like frozen and export to your country. And here's some jewelry made from seeds from Amazon also. So some ideas for you guys if you're not sure what you're working with already. I decided to bring here some ideas that would be really interested to, you know, think about it. Okay, so we're gonna talk again. Have you guys chose what you're gonna work, which product, what you put in your exportation plan? Any idea what you guys are going use as a raw resource or finished good?
Maybe they don't want to share because can be strategical for them. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I get it. So, yeah, I mean, I understand. You know, we need to keep some things in secret just to make
Yeah,
sure we're
they are
gonna.
saying here. They are saying here in the chat that they yes, they already know, but my group has some ideas.
Right. Okay,
It's
cool.
good. It's a
Well,
competition, people. You're right.
yeah. And it's good that you guys already have something in mind, you know, because by now you almost, you know, next class is gonna be about putting all together. So I'm really glad to know that you already have something in mind. So we're gonna keep going forward. Where export to? Well, yes, true, we have the whole world to explore, but some places is just easier to put the things in there. So for example, here, before I moved to Portugal, I had visited here. I know people, I have family, I know the market, so it makes easier for me to bring my products here. So it's an advantage, you know. So if you not want to, perhaps you don't want to bring the Amazon product explicitly to your country, but you see an opportunity in a country that it's by your side and you have people there, you have clients there, you already have relationships with, you know, people from another country, and it can be a good opportunity to you to bring the product to another place. So it's really important to analyze which country is going to be mostly beneficial to the product, to your company. It's important to analyze the market in aspects as politics, economics, social habits, technology. My product needs to, you know, be on e-commerce, or how much I'm gonna use technology to make my business and my product sell. These are really good things and important things to analyze when you decide where you're gonna export, where you're gonna import, and things like that. Trades agreements, tariff system, cultural aspects, all of these aspects is gonna impact the success of your plan and how good you're gonna sell it and things like that. As I said, the whole world, we have a lot of things to take in mind when deciding where we're gonna export. I could, for example, if I decide to take my product to Italy, I would have to improve way more um, on the good aspects of my product, which is good. But in Italy, they have a lot of ice cream. It's the country of ice cream and gelato and things like that. So it could be a little bit harder for me to put a different ice cream in the market. So I took that in consideration when I decided to bring to Portugal, you know, like the inner aspects of the country. Okay, you guys have in mind where you want to import the products? It's gonna be to your own country. You guys thinking about somewhere else? Are you listening?
Yeah,
Free
we were
to.
listening. Let's see if anybody want to share that too. Where you're planning, you can keep all these questions too. Also, people to use in your group meetings. If you don't want to share now, since it's a competition, that's not wrong. But get these questions to guide you. If you didn't already decide all that, you can use those questions to guide you.
You can also, I mean, you don't really need to say like which country or like, okay, I'm gonna bring it home, or I'm gonna send it to a country that's not my own.
Yeah, we
Things
have
like
one
that.
here. Carlos, he said Europe in general.
Sweet, sweet. I'm here, Carlos. So if you wanna help, bring to Europe, just talk to me later. We can make it work like for real. Okay, we're gonna keep moving. Any other answer, Kyle? No.
No, just Carlos.
Okay, cool. We're gonna keep going. How export? You guys will see a bit later some of the main documents that we have to make sure the product's gonna get whatever you're sending. It can be complex, it can be hard, and lots of work involved, but it's really, really essential that you get all the documents necessary just to make sure your product's not gonna be stuck and you're gonna be able to, nationalize the product and put in the market and start selling and make it happen. The exportation plan. You're gonna take it from the paper and really make the thing happen. Uh, Kyle, I think I'm gonna keep going because it's not. Is it too much? We need a break or?
No, I think you can go. Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, cool. So we have a lot of things to take in mind while we decide to import or export something. But I brought here a tool that I consider the most important with is the 4 T's of international trade. And it brings the major components related to costs in international trade. Because when we're dealing with different currencies, if you're not really paying attention to all the costs involved, the operation can be really expensive, and also can impact if you're going to be able to put the product in the market with an accessible price, and if you're going to have resource enough to invest in marketing and commercial and sales and all the planning that you did in the plan. So it really, as I said, impacts on the exporting final price of the goods. It defines the main stages and players involved in the process of exportation, and it presents reasonable metrics for the viability of the product. Cool, let's go. This is a metrics, and I'll send you guys the link so you see later when you're working with your groups the points that you guys really need to pay attention. And as I said before, it's basically all about costs, and we have transaction costs, we have tariffs and non-tariff costs, transportation costs, time costs, and as we say in the business world, time is money. So everything is money, right? And we don't waste it. We want to improve and multiply and make it, just uh, whatever is best for us and for our company and for our product. We don't want to waste any money, any time, and want to make things happen successfully. So as a transaction cost, we see here market analysis. Can you do it yourself? Yes, you can. You can also hire consulting agents, for example, to give you a report of the opportunities and the challenges in the market. It's easier for my product to get in. The people doesn't know it, so I'm gonna need to explain to them and like educate the market what's gonna impact the economics, the technology, the social aspects, the demographic, the legislation. Um, and this one, even if you do it yourself or if you hire someone, it's gonna be time and money involved. Negotiation. Well, now we're living, COVID pandemic and confination and all that kind of stuff. For one side, it's complicated. We all know we're suffering, but also it open up the online world even more for us. So it's not the future, it's the present. We are here talking on a video conference, and you can do that negotiating either with your supplier or your client. So now it's a bit cheaper to do business because you just need a computer or a cell phone, and you can interact and talk about costs and talk about the transportation, the insurance, the freight. Um, but it also involves costs in here. Before we needed to travel to the country, we need to shake the hands, of your supply and just look at their eyes. But now we can do it differently. Made easier, it doesn't mean you don't have any costs involved. Contracts. This one is really tricky. Sometimes we just trust, in the supplier, they're gonna be able to give us the amount of product that we decide to import, but it can be complicated. Not because of the supply itself, but the production capacity, for example. So you need to make sure that you're gonna have someone, maybe a lawyer or notary, that's gonna work on a contract for you just to make sure that all the terms that were decided between the buyer and the seller, it's gonna be met. But also demands money. Nobody, works for free. So you have to have in mind how much money it's gonna demand from you and for your company, just to make sure you have all the aspects of the exportation clear. Also, exchange rates. Right now, with all the, again, the pandemic thing and different governments, taking place, as in Europe, we just elect a new, not a new president because it's the same, but in the United States, they just got elected a new president. How it's gonna affect? Right now, like for Brazil and Europe, the currency is crazy. Like it's 7 reais for 1 euro. For those who lives abroad, not in Brazil, it's an excellent time to make business because all the things in Brazil got cheaper for us. Our currency is really high value. So it's not only impact the price of the good itself, but how much you're gonna spend to nationalize the product. So people who's, this is a really good time to make business abroad, to import, to export. Um, Things are like the currency impact deeply and directly on the cost of the process. Local taxes. Sometimes countries have commercial agreements and make easier and cheaper to get your product, but sometimes we don't. I'm not sure if Brazil and India, for example, or Brazil and Macau, Romania, we have such high commercial agreements. So you need to make sure like how much taxes I'm gonna pay for my product to get in my country and how it's gonna impact my final price. Also, we have custom duties, which is another type of local taxes. It's considered a non-tariff cost, but also if you don't have this one paid and consider doing your process and the pricing, planning, it can be really costly and really expensive at the end. We have license also. My product, for example, it's food. So I have to make sure that I have the organic certificate, that all the sanitary and phytosanitary requirements are fulfilled, and license also costs money. We also have local content requirements. Some countries, it's mandatory for them that you use 10% or 20% of local resources to the product that's gonna go like to the Amazon to make the finished good and bring back to your country. So you need to make sure if your country requires that, because if is and you don't have it, your product's not gonna be able to get into your market. Transportation costs. We have different types of modes, transportation modes. It can be rail, ferry, bus, trucks. And this is really important because each one of them has its specificities and different prices. And you need to make sure that your product gets the best transportation mode to its own details and expiration dates. And if you don't get the right one, maybe your product is gonna take too long to get in your country. Maybe it's gonna be expired already, and it's not gonna be good like in any aspect. Insurance, make sure you have a good insurance, because if anything happens during the process, you're gonna be covered. Packing, right now in Europe, especially, well, in Portugal, as an example, we are trading, like exchanging the plastic packaging for paper packing. So this was a law that was put in place when I was here already, and my product came in a plastic packing, and I had to redo it all and change to the paper, to the carton packing. So one of them, like you're gonna decide which one is best for your product, which one is gonna make sure um, it's appropriate and it's gonna be holding your product as it's supposed to be. Some of them are cheaper, some of them are more expensive. So just make sure you have this accountable for and how it's gonna impact in your final price also. Product fragility. If you decide to import a product that needs to come in a glass packing, for example, how fragile is glass? It's a lot. So make sure you have also the secondary packing, and it's appropriate to make sure your product is not gonna be broken during the process. You're not gonna get all the jam, for example. I decide to have a jam and it comes in a glass packing. I need to make sure I have all the primary and secondary packing really good and appropriate for my product. So it's not gonna be broken, it's not gonna be make dirty in the container or in the box or in whatever material you decide to put your product in. And last one, time cost, transit time. If I decide to use airplane to transport, to make the transportation, airplane is faster, even though it's more expensive. So you need to have this one in mind also. Expiration date, you're not gonna, depending of your transit time, for example, if you're taking a boat or something like that, perhaps it can be take longer. If I take something from Brazil to China, for example, it's around 30, 31 days to get there. When I get there with my product, am I gonna have enough time to put my product in the market? My client will have enough time to sell the product. So we need to work this part also with the supply, just to make sure we're gonna have enough shelf life period to take from Amazon, receiving in your country, getting to your client, and your client able to sell to their clients. If you decide to do B2B, for example, if you decide to sell to another company, or if you decide to sell to the final customer, it's also important, like how much time my client will have to consume my product. And penalties due contract terms. As I said before, here in the contracts, we need to have all specified. Here, the supermarkets here, that buy our products, they have specifically penalties if you don't, like afford the timeline that you said. So if I tell my client that the product's gonna be here in 2 months, he's gonna plan all his selling strategies to have my product in 2 months. If something happens and it's not here, I'm gonna be responsible for that. My client may be suing me because he planned all his strategy and all his marketing, things to sell that product in 2 months, and it's not gonna be here, and it's gonna be a huge problem. So also needs to be considered and planned to avoid the penalties. And also inspections and paperwork. You don't want to have your product stuck in the container, in the port, in the airport. It's all money. Each day that your product gets stuck, it's huge. It's a problem. It's money. It's players involved, and you don't want to have that. And also the paperwork. You have to make sure you have all the main documents ready. Maybe you have to have someone to organize them for you. Also, again, involves money and costs, and really impacts the time that your product's going to be available in the market. Okay, it's a lot already, right? Just breathe a little bit. We're not done yet. We're almost. What do you think so far? Is it too complicated until now? Now you guys can talk. Come on, it's just okay. No, it's too easy. It's too hard. I don't want any details. Just talk to me. What do you think so far?
Let's go, people. It sounds difficult, Lillian said. And Flavia so too. It's very complex.
Yeah.
That's why people just adding something is really important for you to decide it, which country or at least which region are you planning to export, because every country and every region has its own laws and requirements. So sometimes you can think, oh, I wanted to sell in Australia, for instance. You need to know how Australia do business and how hard it is to do business there, because all of that you need to think in your costs and your logistic process. We have more things here. You need a lot of patience. In general, it's just a lot of work and responsibility. It's not too hard, just need a good plan. That's for sure. You need to invest some time. It's not wasting time in planning, because then a lot of things will be easier. Sometimes it seems easy, but then it becomes really complex to understand. Like you said, it's a lot of money, a lot of aspects, and it's a lot of work and responsibility to deal with everything. Yeah, and one thing that I think is really important, what Professor Uliana said, is that always have your insurance, because bad things happens, and if you're not covered, you can actually break your company or break the deal that you're doing, or at least lose all your profits with that, because you're going to have to be paying extra money. So it's always good to have insurance, even though it's gets more expensive, the process, but at least you're covered and you can go to bed to sleep in a good way.
Yeah, and it's totally worth it. Well said,
Exactly.
Kyle. Yeah. When I decide to, open up my company and do business here, I had a theory, which is really important. Like a lot of things I had covered already because I studied in college. But practice is a little bit different. And even though you hire like professionals to help you, you have to do your part. They're gonna answer your questions, but you need to know what questions ask. And like here, you were said about the legislation and the laws. Like if I consider Europe, even here, we have different taxes for each country. So for example, in Portugal, they charge me 23% of taxes. But if I want to send to Spain, which is just by my side. Like in 4 hours, I'm in Spain driving. Spain have a different tax system. They're gonna charge me for the same product 21%. So if you don't consider that, maybe because you think, oh, it's Europe, you get one country and you make the calculation. But then you decide to send to another country and they have another amount of, local taxes and different custom duties. And you also need to consider that. Not only you can focus in your market. Yes, I do that here. My major market is Portugal, but I also export to Spain, and I have to make sure that I'm doing, like the differences of taxes and just make sure my accountability is gonna work, and all the money and the profits involved are well, planned and put in place. So let's go here. It's complex, I know, but it's possible. We make it happen. I did it. So if guys, that's what I said. If I did it, everyone can do it. And we have like Incoterms that are related to freight and insurance and time of arrival and who is responsible for what. So it's about the selling condition, fixed contractual rights and obligations, either for the importer and for the exporter. It shows precisely the negotiated price of the good. It reduces controversial interpretations as we talk also about the contracts. It also reduces risks and losses to one of the parties involved. And the mostly used types of Incoterms are full, free on board. What that means? Your supplier is responsible to get your product to the port or to the airport. He's responsible only for the product itself, but you're gonna be the one hiring the transportation mode, paying for the freight, paying for the insurance, and checking on this company, the companies that is gonna be responsible for your product during the process. So if you choose FOBI, on the paper, you're gonna pay less for the supplier, but you also have to have the freight and the insurance, and you're gonna be responsible for this part. Why is it good? Because you're gonna have more control during the process. You can contact directly the companies. But also, if you don't have that much experience, maybe it can be tricky. Perhaps you're using a supply that is already doing exportation, process that is already familiar with all the procedures and all the companies that are involved during the process. And perhaps it's going to be easier for you, even if it's just the beginning, until you learn. Maybe you can use SIF or SIF, which is cost, insurance, and freight, and the supplier is responsible for that. So if you have any problem, you're gonna talk specifically to the supplier, and he's gonna be or she's gonna be responsible to make sure what happened, to call the insurance company and said, oh, look, we have a problem with the product. It exploded or something, like it broke in the container, and we need to cover the losses of the client, which is you. So both of them and all of them, actually, all of this, they have advantages and disadvantages. You just need to look at your product, look at your process, look at your prices and your market, and decide how much control you want to have in the process, or who you want to be responsible for what until what point. But yeah, I mean, there's each 10 years they release new Incoterms. These are the 2020, but in the practice, we're still using the 2010, which is pretty good. Have all the aspects for the importer, for the exporter. And for now, we're gonna be using the Incoterms of 2010 for a little bit until we get really used to the new ones. But again, the mostly used or these two. When I first brought my merchandise here, I chose the scythe because I had the theory, I didn't have the practice. I was here, but my product was coming from Brazil, and my supply already has an exporting department. So he's used it. He knows what to do. So I felt more comfortable and more secure to, put the things in his hands. And I was just, okay, so it's good. Nothing happened with the product. It's coming when it's getting here. And I was responsible to receive the product and just make sure that I had all my paperwork to take it out of the port and put in the market. But it's really up to you. You need to understand your environment to decide which Incoterm is going to be better. Just so we understand some types of the transportation mode, we have the road. It's accessible. The packing doesn't need to be a whole container. You can send just a box. But the cargo capacity, it can be tricky because you can have like a big truck, a smaller truck, and the safety in Brazil, it's something that we need to consider. Our roads and the fiscalization that we have, it can be a bit tricky. The air, it's route speed, it's faster. You're gonna, like my first one, it came by airplane, and I got my product. I talked to my supplier, and in 15 days my product was here. But also has a cargo specificity capacity. I cannot bring 8,000 kilos of my product in airplane. It's gonna be or impossible because it's too heavy, or it's gonna be too expensive if I have to break, like 4,000 kilos in one airplane and 4,000 kilos in another plane. It's gonna be way too expensive. Maybe I can decide to bring my product by sea. I can put more kilos in it. We're gonna use container. You have to hire the container. It's price competitive. Yes, it's gonna be cheaper to divide the freight cost by the kilos that you are transporting, but also the route speed can be a disadvantage. As I said in the beginning, if you're sending to from Brazil, either to Macau, India, or Romania, uh, it may take too long. It may take around 1 month. Now, during COVID-19, it may take longer. So you need to have this in mind. If your product supports to be that much time in the sea. Maybe rail. Here in Portugal and Brazil not that much, but it's possible too. The advantage is cargo capacity, route speed is also fast, but there is a low flexibility in the transshipment and safety. Perhaps they're gonna have to take your product from one rail and put in another one. And during this process, something may get broken and it's not gonna be any good. And let's not forget the popopo. Popopo is these little boats that we have in Amazon and take the product from the islands to the city. It's a transportation mode that we use a lot. The Ribeirinhos use a lot, the people that lives around the river. And yeah, I mean, it's something typical from Amazon and the river, but it's also a transportation mode. And yes, we are almost there. Not sure if you guys want to share the transportation mode that would make more sense for your product. Doesn't need to, say what it is, what product you are planning to do your business plan on. Just the transportation mode that would make more sense for you.
Then
Is
I
it
just
also a
check.
secret, Kyle, or they can share this part?
I don't know. Like I think it's they think that's really strategical, and I agree in a way. Oh yeah, it's Carlos again. Thank you, Carlos. by ship.
by
Would be
ship.
cheaper. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
always interesting. Just to add something too is that, of course, the best one, if you think about time, is always plane for sure. However, sometimes if you use the plans, is all your profit is going down. So it's something that you need to plan. Okay, can I send by ship? Can I have in roads or train? Or in the last case, if you don't have a lot of margin to lose, is that using the airplanes, because then it will be really expensive. But if to use the other ones that take longer to be at their place, you need to plan more. You need to invest more time to think, okay, I have 15 days to arrive there, so I put 5 extra days just to, if anything happen, and then you start to your plans using the 20 days margin. So it's important for you to do this balance between the time to be faster, but how much will cost for your process.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. I mean, what I did first, um, I thought I knew the market, but I wasn't sure how my product was going to be received by the clients here. So my first like shipment I brought by airplane was really expensive. My margin went all the way down, but I thought was more responsible for me to bring a small quantity, even though I had to pay more on transportation, just to make sure that my product was going to be accepted here. And then when I realized, okay, yes, I have clients, they like my product. Now it's time to bring more, and then I'm gonna bring it by ship because then I can have a higher margin and better profits, for example. But you need to test, you know. Sometimes if you choose shipment, you're gonna have to send a high quantity. Just maybe you need to have an own container for you, and it's gonna be 10,000 kilos, 20,000 kilos. So if you do that, you're gonna save money on the transportation mode, but maybe you're gonna lose money if your product's not really well accepted in the market as you thought it could be. So I
Professor,
mean, it's a
oh,
balance. Yeah, yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
just to answer one question here that's for the game. Isabella asked if you have to plan to use the exportation plan in the final page, or just put in the papers. For your presentation, you need to put the marketing one, the international trade one. You have to put in your presentation, but when you are presenting, since you only have 15 minutes, you have to focus on the most important part of each one. But since you already sent me in the day before, the end of the day before the slides, so the judge, they will, after your presentations, when they go to their room, they will check in any one of the slides just if they have any questions. So it's important for you to do it, put in your papers, but since you only have 15 minutes for your presentation, you just focus on the most important part. Okay, but we will be aligning all that tomorrow in the end of the workshop for business model. But it's important to be there in the final pitch presentation, because if they have any doubts, they can just go through it. Thank you, Professor. Sorry for the interruption.
No, it's okay. Just so you guys know some of the paperwork that we have, I'm not gonna go deep into this one, but when you guys, make the expectation something real, and I hope you guys do, these are some of the documents, the main ones that you have to have. Doesn't matter which transportation mode you're gonna choose. So commercial invoice, packing list, bill of landing, or airway bill if you choose the airplane mode, certification of inspection and quality control, especially if you're working with food. For example, this is like you have to have it. Certificate of orange if your country has advantages for some materials from Brazil, you're gonna be required this certificate. Bill of exchange, it's all about the exchange rate and which bank you're gonna be working with, who's gonna be intermediating the payment from you to the supplier, and the supplier paying the insurance and the freight and all the players involved, the shipment advice, and the insurance certificate, as we talked before, the importance of the insurance. Yes, help can be complex, as we said before, but again, it's possible. And I'm really glad that I took, the challenge that in the beginning was a huge challenge for me, but I'm really glad that I did. I learned a lot. I have my product in here. It helped me to be part of this community because I have clients. I got to do networking, and I mean, I don't regret like any second, because I really learned a lot. And I have Amazon products in Europe. So it's just, it's really, I'm really proud to what I did. Questions that I could, guys, like just about what we just talked here, that I'm going to go into the groups actually. So we can, talk more specifically about your product and your plan, and we're gonna, right, Kyle? I think it's
Yeah.
better,
I
right?
think it's better too. Yeah, because they will be feel more comfortable to speak and to ask some questions about you.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so that's what I propose for the the exportation plan. Get the metrics. You don't need to talk like about all of the points. As Kaya said, choose the most important ones. And we don't really need to talk about like real cost, because probably you guys not gonna have enough time to do the research. But just make sure like, oh, packing, I decide to use plastic or paper or glass. Just specify some of the, that points that I have in the matrix. I can put the link in here so you guys can see better, and define some of these points, like negotiation I'm gonna do online, license I'm gonna be working with a food or like a seed or something like that that is perishable, so I need to have sanitary control, something like that, just to specify the points related to the product that you're going to be using.
Professor, could you put in the chat just the questions for them, because when we send them to their breakout room, they will not be seeing the slides anymore. So just for them to have with them and to have like a guide for them to work now.
Sure, I'm gonna share the link that I have
No,
the
even perfect, even perfect.
right. I'm gonna stop sharing now, and I'll send the link. Let's see if it's this one. I think so. Yeah, it's this one. So you guys can see the metrics and just get the main points and define your specificities on each one.
Great. I tried here. It's open. Good. Yeah.
Opening. Cool.
Yeah. Great. So
So
can we go
that's
to the breakout room?
for me. We're ready.
Okay. So we will open the rooms. You go in, you start working, and then Professor Uliana, she's going to enter in each room to have some questions and to give some information for you to help you out on your process. Okay. So I'm opening the rooms, and then you can go there, and then Professor Uliana will be starting at the room 1 in about 5 minutes. Okay, so 5 minutes to go in, you start to work and prepare your questions, and then she will be entering in each room. Okay.
See you guys soon.
Okay.
Professor Kayo, please, can you let me enter into my room because I was late? Thank you.
Yeah. Now I will put. We will be putting all of you.
Room 5.
Okay, room 5. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Let I just do like that. Let's see for the. Let's see, Daphne. Is room 5. Jacqueline is room 8. And Joseph create room 4. Okay, I think everybody went to their rooms. Yeah. Yes, we're good. So Uliana, we wait the 5 minutes and then I will send you to the room 1. And then what you have to do, you always leave the room, and when you click leave, it will say like just leave the breakout room, and then you're gonna go back to this main room, and then I put you in the room 2. Okay, I have to do like individually.
Okay, sure.
So okay, I will put you in room 1, and then it's gonna pop up just an invitation box. Okay,
All right.
so room 1, it should be appearing something for you. It did? Yeah, sure.
Oi, Caio, é o Marco.
Oi, Marco, como vai, amigo?
Epá, eu entrei muito tarde, só entrei há 10 minutos atrás.
O que eles vão fazer agora? Ela passou uma atividade para eles completarem, e aí agora eles vão trabalhar nos grupos.
Okay.
A gente pode também, professor, se o senhor quiser, eu posso lhe colocar nos grupos para o senhor também, já que todos os grupos têm alunos da Universidade de Macau, então o senhor vai poder também colaborar com eles, se o senhor quiser.
Uhum. A minha única preocupação é que eu não assisti, quando abri o Zoom, foi quando chegou o último slide aqui dos 4 T's. Eu não sei se eles vão agora falar mais exatamente de custo de transporte, do insurance, do parking.
É verdade, vai ser mais específico sobre isso, né?
Não vou ser de grande ajuda, porque eu cheguei mesmo no final.
Ok, sem problemas então. Então a gente fica aqui, eu vou aproveitar para adiantar outras coisas também, e aí, professor, depois eu queria que o senhor conversasse com o professor José também, que a gente está à disposição aqui para a gente fazer aquela reunião que o senhor falou no e-mail, para a gente poder avançar e eu acredito que a gente possa trabalhar de diversas formas, né, as nossas universidades. Eu acho que para a gente é uma grande oportunidade e a gente vai ficar muito feliz em poder reunir com vocês.
Sem dúvida, Caio, e para nós também será todo um prazer e muito importante. Como sabe, a China é um parceiro muito grande do Brasil, sobretudo no agronegócio. Eu vejo aí com vocês muitas possibilidades aqui de parceria, mas depois falamos com mais atenção e a gente explica melhor também.
Tá ótimo, professor. A gente agradece demais a participação de vocês. Muito obrigado.
Não, e obrigado. Eu tive a assistir todos os dias e tenho que lhe dar os parabéns, Caio, para a organização.
Professor, muito obrigado. Assim, sem a participação de vocês, né, o projeto não faz sentido, e a gente, quando recebeu a proposta da Márcia de trabalhar com uma universidade de Macau, a gente ficou muito feliz, né, porque não só pela diferença de fuso horário já é um desafio para eles, né, então acho que enriquece o projeto, mas também é um destino que foge do comum. Então, para os nossos alunos, eu acho que abre um leque maior de oportunidades, porque eles vão perceber que a gente pode fugir dos mercados tradicionais, porque geralmente nossos alunos pensam muito Estados Unidos e Europa, né? E a gente tem que entender que, na maioria das vezes, existem vários outros mercados, mercado árabe, mercado asiático, que a gente consegue entrar e fazer negócio de uma forma bastante sustentável e estratégica também, né? Então, achei muito interessante, né, a participação de vocês para abrir mais a cabeça dos nossos alunos.
Eu reuni-me com eles há uns dias atrás, com os 2 estudantes, para saber como é que estava, revimos aqui uns conceitos também, E muitos deles estão muito entusiasmados aí e para eles aquilo que significa a Amazónia, não é? Todos eles já sabem o que é. Pá. Eu acho que a maior parte deles estão bem, a maior parte deles eu vi muita motivação aí. Caio, depois a única coisa aí, não quero estar a atrapalhar,
Claro.
esta apresentação também depois vai estar lá no link que
Vou
que tu me
compartilhar.
mandaste, né?
Vou compartilhar. O senhor
Ok.
conseguiu abrir, professor, certinho?
A conseguir abrir tudo beleza, tudo
No
tranquilo.
Drive, né? Perfeito.
Sim. É que eu depois, normalmente aquilo que eu faço uma vez por semana, fiz esta semana e na próxima semana eu reúno-me sempre, convido eles para lanchar e a gente faz uma hora aí de como é que estão as coisas, onde é que tu estás o teu problema. Epá, e estou a lhe dar sempre uma ajuda aí e então é sempre bom eu estar atualizado aí com todo a vossa informação aí.
Perfeito, professor. Eu queria também, se o senhor concordar, na segunda-feira, que vai ser o primeiro dia de mentoria,
Sim,
a gente tem um momento que a gente, entre eu, o senhor e os alunos, todos, não por grupo, todo mundo, só para a gente ter uma conversa sobre os feedbacks dessa primeira semana, de workshops, tudo, porque o objetivo é a gente estar sempre melhorando o projeto e quando a gente ouve os
claro.
alunos, é o melhor caminho para isso.
Claro. Eu sei que vocês estão na segunda edição e mesmo assim, Caio, tenho que dar já os parabéns porque é só a segunda edição e vocês já estão a fazer um trabalho fantástico aí e sobretudo sendo online com o trabalho das rooms, dividir as pessoas, logisticamente parece fácil, mas não é nada fácil e parabéns porque é só a segunda vez que vocês estão a fazer isso e tenho certeza que vai ser um sucesso daqui para frente. E já é um
Pessoal,
sucesso.
que legal, que legal. Fico muito feliz com o seu feedback. E assim, a gente também pode, professor, pensar depois em fazer a Amazon Experience com universidades exclusivas, por exemplo, a gente e vocês, né? Então, a gente também tem um formato para a gente fazer,
Sim, nós,
para a gente poder
é,
adaptar, porque aí eu acho que fica mais pessoal e mais
yeah,
personalizado a
nós
parceria.
participamos conheço o Old Price, que é quem participa também a Nações Unidas e a Fundação Bill Clinton, e eles fazem isso, Challenge, On Campus Challenge, dentro da faculdade, de cada faculdade. Depois há uma final, portanto, há a Universidade de Macau, a Universidade da China, da Europa, dos Estados Unidos, e
Interessante,
depois
professor.
há uma.
Não conhecia esse challenge. Se eu
É,
puder depois me passar algumas informações,
eu
que eu
acho
estou
que isso
sempre.
depois pode ser quando tornar-se maior e cada vez maior, mas enfim, cada challenge a organização tem o seu bem. Eu acho que o seu também é excelente. O facto de misturar as pessoas é uma coisa incrível também, não tinha visto antes. Mas sim, vou partilhar sim, vamos bater um papo depois de tudo isto, quando isto acabar, como é que a gente pode, definitivamente a
Seguir
gente quer...
aprimorando, né? Seguir evoluindo. Eu acho que o caminho é esse e eu gosto de trabalhar naquele formato forever beta, né? Que a gente está sempre faz, roda,
Exato,
ouve os alunos, colhe os feedbacks e melhora o processo para a próxima versão.
claro. É o lean Startup way of doing it.
Exatamente. É isso que a gente se inspira aqui também. Que bom, professor. Muito obrigado pelo seu feedback e a gente está bem à disposição aqui para não só esse
Yeah,
projeto, mas pensar em várias coisas de forma
tá bem.
conjunta, que eu acho que a
Caio,
gente
não é
está
preciso
crescendo.
formalismo, não é preciso formalismos, tu não precisas dizer professor, ok? Chamas-me por
Perfeito,
Marco.
Marco.
Está-se bem.
Que bom.
Eu
Eu
vivi
prefiro
no
assim.
Brasil, Caio, eu vivi no Brasil de 2010 2014,
Teu
em São
português é
Paulo.
muito bom, Marco. Teu português é excelente. Porque tu és italiano, né? Eu
É,
lembro que...
eu sou italo-português, yeah.
Isso, ítalo-português.
Mas enfim, é isso, Caio. Não vou estar a atrapalhar agora, depois a
Não,
gente
que é isso.
com
Eu que
calma
agradeço
conversa
e
mais.
a gente está aqui à disposição, Marco. Muito obrigado mesmo.
Ok, ok, um abraço, Caio. Até
Um
já.
abraço, querido.
Caio. Caio.
Oh, sorry, eu tava mutado.
Te mandando mensagem pro meu
Não,
anjo.
eu tava falando e tava mutado aqui. Foi bom na conversa nesse segundo, né? Demorou um pouquinho mais, né?
Demorou um pouquinho mais, mas assim, eles tinham um garoto, né, de fato na sala, os outros estão trabalhando ou em aula, e aí estavam no mute, e assim, eles não tinham, acho que chegaram a falar contigo, inclusive, um grupo que estava pensando em energia renovável, coisas do tipo.
Sim, sim.
E aí eu falei, olha, não vão tão longe, não precisa ser tão complexo. Pensem em produtos mesmo da Amazônia. Pensem em frutas, por exemplo. Um suco. Um deles é do Chile. Eu
É,
falei, eu
exato.
estava pensando numas garrafas, um amigo meu faz umas garrafas com paisagens. Eu falei, ok, a garrafa é legal, mas você precisa incluir um recurso da Amazônia. Então, pensa em vender essas garrafas com o suco das frutas da Amazônia dentro. E aí,
Exatamente.
sim, você pode utilizar pássaros da Amazônia para fazer enfim, a embalagem, né, o rótulo da garrafa, esse tipo de coisa. Mas pensa, por exemplo, pode ser um suco, uma fruta, ou vocês podem pensar numa linha com 3 sucos, por exemplo. E aí vai com cupuaçu, bacuri, taperebá, acerola, açaí. Eu falei, fala, tem um menino do Brasil no grupo,
É,
e aí
Will.
eu falei, fala com ele e pergunta assim, quais são as 3 principais frutas da Amazônia que a maioria das pessoas gostam e tal.
Boa.
Pode fazer um mix com guaraná? Ele falou, sim, sim, pode ser. A gente não estava conseguindo visualizar, assim, sabe? O que de fato tinha que ser. Eu falei, não dificultem, vão
Keep it
pelo...
simple.
Exato,
É
sabe?
porque,
Não
imagina, energia,
é
eles falaram de
complexo.
energia renovável, eu falei, olha, primeiro, vai ser um custo absurdo para esse projeto virar realidade e os investidores anjos eles vão ver lá, porra, ok, já existe, qual é o diferencial que a gente vai criar, então pensa em produtos realmente para serem comercializados, produtos e serviços. Então acho que fluiu bem. Deixa eu colocar lá então o Uli lá no Room Free Now.
Beleza,
Beleza. Acho que já vai aparecer aí para ti.
já tá, já tá.
Beleza, valeu, mozão.
Olá, Thiago, tudo bom?
Hi, hello.
Which runner? Qual é teu grupo mesmo, Thiago?
Yeah, 4.
Vou te colocar aqui que o pessoal tá nos grupos trabalhando agora, rapidinho.
Yes.
4. Aí, acho que vai aparecer para ti. Hello, Dominique. How are you?
Voltei. E Caio? Voltei.
Hello, Uli.
Meu Deus, são 8 grupos? Jesus, vou garantir logo a minha água aqui.
Pega lá. Tu vais pro 4 agora, né?
Bom, me diz uma coisa, a essa altura do campeonato, não era para eles estarem assim um pouco mais já adiantado em qual produto e qual país e tal, ou nem por isso?
Sim. Era, mas eles têm até amanhã, né? Amanhã é o deadline, porque eles vão ter o de Business Model, né? Do Lean Canvas. Mas, assim, alguns grupos já vão ter uma coisa mais formatada, mas alguns grupos tu pode dar uma provocada mesmo para eles se
É o que eu tô
despertarem.
fazendo. É o que eu tô fazendo.
Beleza, então. Room 4. Já pegou tua água?
Já.
Beleza, tamo junto. Hello, Daphne.
Can you put me again in the break room because my internet
Sure.
internet connection breakdown in
You are group 5, isn't it?
yes, room 5, yes.
Okay, perfectly. It should appear now for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Caio, amanhã depois eu posso ajudar aí, posso ajudar aí, vou ter mais tempo aí para ajudar a vocês a finalizar aí nos rooms.
Perfeito, perfeito, Marco.
Ok, só queria...
E eu assim, amanhã, que é o último de Business Model, amanhã a gente coloca uma pressãozinha neles para já decidirem amanhã qual é o produto, porque assim, se eles ficarem mudando ou estiverem muito inseguros, na semana que vem eles vão acabar perdendo tempo decidindo um produto quando eles já podiam estar desenvolvendo as ferramentas e a apresentação, né?
Exato. Eu também vou conversar com os nossos estudantes também, para saber como é que estão nos times deles.
Perfeito, perfeito, Marco.
Vou falar com eles também.
Muito bom. Obrigado, professor. Obrigado, Marcão. We have some people here actually. Let I just Uliana go to room 5. Where is Uliana? Uliana.
I'm here.
Okay, room 5.
Cool.
Let I just check something. Daphne. Did anybody left their rooms? Ana Flávia, Larissa, Stan, Tiago, Yuri, and Daphne.
Yeah, because we didn't know if we needed to stay there or what we
Yeah.
had to do because we spoke with the teacher. That's why.
No. Stay there working, and then you will come back just in the final quarter of our time. Okay. I will invite you back
Okay.
when you can go for and work in your not only the international trade but the other parts too. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Does it show for you again, like the rooms that you need to go in? Tiago, Andrea, Yuri, and Ana Flavia. Daphne. Is Daphne here? Margarita?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Hello. You can go, Daphne, because Professor Uliana is already in your room 5. You can go there.
Oh, she's in. Okay, I spoke with my roommates and they said that one of them said that he's really busy today. So, and the other one just wrote something on the chat group.
Yeah, she's there
But
with
okay, if
Guilherme
you
and
can
Victor.
let me enter again.
I will move to 4
Okay.
and then put you back in room 5, okay? Just don't enter now, enter now. It should appear something in your screen.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It didn't.
Oh, let I try again. I will move and don't enter in the first one. Just a second. Here, enter.
I don't.
It's showing something for you?
Join breakout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Bye-bye. See you soon. Tiago, me ouve? Tiago e Yuri Yang, can you hear me? Tiago and Yuri, yeah, thanks. Tiago, are you there, my friend?
Hello.
Yeah, Tiago, you have to go to your room and stay working there until the last half hour. Fica trabalhando lá, mesmo depois de ela passar, porque vocês vão desenvolvendo as coisas no final que eu vou chamar vocês de volta para cá, tá bom?
Yes.
Eu vou te colocar aqui, não clica ainda nesse primeiro, tá? Só para aparecer de novo para ti o pop-up, mas ainda não clica nesse primeiro. Vai agora, deve aparecer para ti do room 4. Vê se apareceu.
No.
Let I try again. Don't go in this first one, go in. Não. Vê agora se apareceu um pop-up. Ela abre uma janela te convidando para uma sala. Apareceu?
Caio,
Olá, Marco.
não, Caio, eles agora estão nos rooms do MS Teams, não é?
Eles estão no breakout room aqui, mas eles podem também trabalhar lá para o MS Teams, sem problema.
Eles estão aqui no Zoom. Okay.
Eu criei salas individuais para cada grupo.
Ok, mas o MS Team então é para eles depois fora do...
Exato. Quando eu fechar a sala aqui.
Ok.
Perfeito.
Já percebi. Um abraço.
Caio.
Hello, my friend.
Aqui. Manda para a próxima.
Vai pro agora é o...
Bye, teachers. Bye.
Bye, Daphne. See you
I
tomorrow.
hope that next year maybe we can be able to come in Brazil.
Sure.
We all hope that.
Yes.
Nice.
We'll be thrilled about that.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be very happy. Thank you.
Yeah. I hope that this year I can reach to America with the work and travel program. I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Nice.
will work. Uliana, you can
Yeah.
go to room 6 now, I think. It shows.
Bye bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye bye. Hello, Haluka. Did you lose your connection, Raluka?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah. Which group is yours again?
Room 3.
The group 3. Okay. Let I just send you back there. Like, just a second. It should appear now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Qual foi, mana? Tá mutada.
Qual é, mano? Me manda, me manda pro 7, porque o 6 só tem uma menina e os outros foram comer, foram, sei lá, fazer o quê. Aí eu falei que eu vou pro próximo para não perder tempo e daqui a pouco eu volto.
O 7, né? Tá.
Beijunda.
Beijunda. Hello, Yuri. How are you, my friend? Tomou? O remédio? Tem que forrar primeiro, né?
Caio, uma pergunta.
Pois não, Marco. Pode falar.
Você mandou um teste psicotécnico ao início, é para ver um bocadinho o perfil das pessoas e depois,
Comportamental. Isso.
e depois ter o máximo de pessoas, enfim, depois isso ajuda na divisão, não é?
Exatamente, dos diferentes perfis, que eles usam aquela metodologia DISC, que aí eles dão os 4 perfis das pessoas e aí a gente tenta agrupar cada um desse perfil em cada grupo.
Com o mesmo perfil DISC.
Exatamente.
Ok.
Para ter pelo menos um dominante em cada grupo, um influente em cada grupo, né? E assim sucessivamente.
Ok.
Hello, Jenny. Thiago, vou te mandar lá pro grupo, o teu grupo 4, né?
Yes.
Beleza, tô te mandando lá. Oi, Henrique, Isabela.
Pô, é pra voltar
Jane.
pra lá ainda, cara?
Não, continuem trabalhando. A
Ah,
gente,
tá.
a gente vai agora, a professora Uliana tá passando nos grupos, ainda falta ela passar em 2, mas vão trabalhando lá no grupo de vocês, tá bom? Podem voltar para lá.
É que a gente tá enrolado, né? Tá esperando ela.
Ah, beleza, então.
Tá.
Podem voltar para lá que aí eu... Vocês querem que ela dê um pulo lá com vocês depois?
Aham. Tem que devolver a gente, né, aqui pro grupo.
Eu acho que... Deixa eu ver se vocês conseguem voltar. A Isabela foi para lá.
Como é que? A Joane não tá entendendo nada que está falando em português.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Jane. I'm so sorry. I was speaking Portuguese with Henrique. You have to go back to your room and it's still working. And I will ask for Professor Uliana to go back there to have some questions, okay? I will send you again. I will put you number 2 and then I put the number 1 and then you enter in number 1, okay? Because I have to move you from different rooms very fast. Don't enter yet.
Two?
Okay.
Henrique, you can go to room 1.
Tá. Agora.
Okay, and your Portugal is very cool.
Oh, thank you so much. Jane, I will put again, I will send you to 2 and no, you okay. Henrique, it appear for you, Henrique?
Sim, yes. Okay, bye.
Run 1. And Isabella, is it showing to you? The room 1? Henrique already went there. Isabella and Jane are here. You should go back to your room 1. No, great. Tá me ouvindo, Isabela? Isabela, hello. Você está aí? Amanda caiu, Amanda. Tá, acho que foi todo mundo. Hello, Yuri. Can you hear me? Yuri, you are group 4. You have to go back to your room, okay, Yuri? And still working there.